The other day, I was sitting at home bored, lonely, possibly depressed, perusing the old YouTubes, and I stumbled upon a clip of Tim Welch saying something extremely interesting.
The UFC probably sees Arman as such a danger to take out these superstars.
Yeah. And it piqued my interest a lot because I never heard that vocalized by somebody that's actually connected to the UFC. I mean, I always knew it was true, but still, to have somebody on the inside come out and flat out say it feels pretty validating, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm glad that he spoke about Arman Tsarukyan specifically, because after Dana White's announcements for UFC 324 and 325, I knew that I'd be making this video, and that was the perfect segue into it. You know those women that get really weird and bent out of shape around their prettier friends and never bring them around their boyfriend because they're scared that they'll steal them? That's how the UFC treats Arman. Except in this case, the boyfriend is the lightweight championship, and they're terrified that Arman will snatch it from more deserving people. And sure, it makes no sense at all that the winner of the interim title will hold a lower ranking than the #1 contender, but have no fear, the UFC found a solution. They're taking full advantage of the fact that Arman pulled out of his title fight against Islam Makhachev almost a year ago to justify this trial by fire where Arman has to constantly prove himself for an unspecified amount of time. Let's rewind and see how Dana reacted to his first tribulation, a title fight between Charles Oliveira and Ilia Topuria that Arman was skipped over for despite still being the #1 contender and weighed in as a backup.
Well, it's not about getting back in the good graces. It's about, the guy had the opportunity to fight for a title and didn't make weight. You couldn't fuck up anything worse than that. But he proved, now that he's not fighting for the title and he was here as a backup fighter, he made weight, so it's definitely a step in the right direction.
Now I know that the accepted narrative for his pullout from UFC 311 has become a botched weight cut, but we have to remember that the official reason has always been back issues. And whether you personally believe that or not, Dana telling the media that it was a weight cut issue wasn't accidental at all. It was used as a feeler to excuse and justify a fight that they were already in the process of setting up between Paddy Pimblett and Ilia Topuria, which on paper made no sense at all. Paddy was ranked number 8 and had just beaten Michael Chandler, which in no way, shape, or form justified a title shot. Yet he was the one being called inside of the octagon by Joe Rogan when Ilia Topuria was given his post-fight interview. That's also despite the fact that Ilia actually called out Arman seconds prior, referring to him as the guy whose back hurts when it comes to delivering. More on that in just a bit. First, let's take a look at Dana's reaction to Ilia potentially defending his title against a guy that's barely in the top 10.
We'll see. We'll see how this plays out.
Clearly, the wheels were already in motion, which was made even more obvious by Ilia's seemingly instantaneous change of heart, claiming that he would never give Arman a title shot, even though he was the one to call him out in his post-fight interview. I think it's pretty obvious that in the 3 weeks between UFC 317 and the stream he did with the Nelk Boys, Ilia had some kind of a meeting with the UFC brass, where he was let in on future plans for a big money fight between him and Paddy Pimblett and told to take a harsh public stance against Arman Tsarukyan to get him out of the picture.
I want to fight with someone that no matter what, he's going to show up. He's going to show up. He's a fighter. It's not my back. Bro, I don't care. Go in. No one cares about the excuses.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. It'll be interesting.
I don't know what they're going to do. I'm just trying to guess to what UFC would do. I mean, matchmaking, man.
They're going to give him a fight before the title shot. Because there is no way. If I'm the world champion, I'm never going to give him a chance to fight for the title. I will be like, listen, if that's the case, take my belt. I don't do it.
Despite the fact that MMA is a merit-based sport, the UFC is all about marketability politics. If they feel like you have the potential to make money, they will do everything in their power to get you to a title shot, regardless of your actual fighting ability. And if you're not that guy, they'll use every loophole they can to keep you away from it, which is exactly what's happening with Arman. Because with him already being skipped over for a title shot once, taking a fight against Dan Hooker, and Ilia pulling out due to personal issues, there's really no reason for him not to be next in line for the title outside of, no, he needs to be punished still for this thing that he supposedly did. In the UFC's eyes, there's no other option but to continue punishing him for his success, because not only is he not a potential moneymaker, he's also an extreme liability because he's in the rightful position to take out those that are. In other words, he's being screwed because he can actually fight, while Paddy Pimblett is being dragged by his collar and dropped into positions that he shouldn't be in because they don't have faith in his ability to put himself there. The concept of Dana White privilege or being handed opportunities based on whether or not the boss likes you has been memed to death at this point. But let's listen to how he describes it, keeping in mind what we know about this situation.
Here's the stupidity and Dana White privilege. When you bring guys in, there's people that you think could possibly become world champions, right? As we've been talking through the whole interview, everybody wants to become a world champion. Well, there's people that you think have a much better chance than others do. So you prop these people up and you put them in positions and see what they're capable of doing. I mean, Conor McGregor is a guy that was accused of having Dana White privilege. Arguably one of the biggest superstars in sports, let alone the UFC. Ronda Rousey, when I brought her in, Dana White privilege. Huge superstar for us and literally launched female fighting for us.
I picked this clip because he's almost being honest here, but he ruins it with one single phrase.
There's people that you think could possibly become world champion.
If Dana White privilege was based around that, then guys like Bilal Muhammad and Merab Dvalishvili wouldn't have had to practically beg the UFC for a title shot after going on some of the longest win streaks in UFC history. What it actually has to do with is your perceived ability to bring money to the company as champion, which is why the defining characteristic of everyone that's been fast-tracked to a title shot has been popularity and not impressive victories. Sometimes the two coincide, like in the case of Alex Pereira, but sometimes it's just marketability with no substance behind it, like Paddy Pimblett. There's no logical reason for why Paddy Pimblett should be fighting for the interim lightweight title, so he's being propped up at Arman Tsarukyan's expense. See, it should have been Arman, but he's still on punishment for that horrible thing that he did. Good for you, Paddy, for stepping up. Never mind the fact that there are still other people in the weight class that deserve it more than him. And I understand that this is a business. They have to do what they have to do, and at the end of the day, it benefits the fans who get to see the biggest and most dramatic shows possible. I just wish they weren't so disingenuous about it. Specifically, Paddy Pimblett himself, who seems totally oblivious to constantly calling Arman spoiled while being one of the most spoiled fighters in the company's history.
Yeah, Arman's a little ass.
Why don't you like Arman so bad, man?
Because he's a little posh boy who's had everything handed to him. Know what I mean? He's got about 40 cars or something. Know what I mean?
40 cars?
Yeah, something stupid like that, or like $1 million cars, lad.
You're a liar, Paddy.
Lad, have you not seen his Instagram?
No, he's rich.
Yeah.
Arman's a rich kid?
Yeah, he's a rich kid.
I had no idea.
Dad's a multi-millionaire, and his dad's got a big crazy business. He's a multi-millionaire. He's never had to work hard for nothing in his life. Everything's being passed down to him on a silver platter. This is what a hard-working, working-class lad looks like right here. He's had everything handed to him.
I'm sure growing up wealthy made it a lot easier for Arman to follow his dreams, but it's not like middle-class Paddy Pimblett had to struggle to feed himself either. And ever since both of them made it into UFC, Paddy has clearly been the one with the privilege, getting easy fights, jumping in rankings for no reason whatsoever, and getting totally undeserved title shots.
It's a business to build Paddy and make him easy fights, but I hope Justin gonna beat his ass, kick his ass, and we're gonna forget about Paddy all our life. He's fighting for the title. He's not that big, but when he gonna be, I hope he's not gonna be a champion, but like UFC think he's gonna be a champion and he's gonna fight for the real belt with Ilia. That time he's gonna be superstar and they can sell more pay-per-views or whatever they do. And the real fighters like me just watching and waiting our time, you know.
I suppose I understand why the UFC is doing what they're doing. If Arman were to win the interim belt, he would ruin two super fights at once, Paddy versus Ilia and Ilia versus Islam Makhachev. That's just bad for business. But it also sucks to see that this sport is becoming more and more pro wrestling adjacent, with the brass constantly politicking backstage to push people based on their personality and not their fighting ability. I mean, there was a time when Dana White would tell anyone that would listen that unlike in boxing, MMA was where the best always fought the best, and now that's just clearly not true. And with the way they withhold or hand out title shots and shuffle around rankings based on artificial narratives, pretty soon it's going to be a lot worse than boxing ever was. It's a scary trajectory, and I'm not sure what the solution is, but one thing's for sure, turning somebody into a scapegoat because they're too good is definitely not the answer. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like the video if you liked it, and if you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell next to it. And if you want to support the channel further, become a member by hitting join if you're on Android or desktop, or the link in the description if you're on iOS.